Welcome to Aussie E-commerce Mum, a diary-style podcast for those of you starting out or running a product-based business. E-commerce is growing and more entrepreneurs are dipping their toes into making money online. In my podcast, you'll learn and be inspired by my experiences with running 2 Shopify websites that I started in 2020, because the e-commerce world is very different from running a digital or service-based business. On this journal-style podcast, I share my day-to-day trials and triumphs as they unfold in real time. Because let's face it, navigating the e-commerce world feels less daunting when we share our hurdles with someone else. Join me as I share from my kitchen table in Adelaide, Australia. Brought to you by one of my online stores, theturtlejournal.com.au. Hey, my name's Rachel. Welcome to Aussie E-commerce Mum. This is episode number 40. Where are you at? And where I am at is finally recording a podcast episode after 2 months of not having recorded any. I feel like my episode 39 was like the end of season 1, and now I'm back for season 2. And a couple of things I want to tell you straight off the bat about podcasting I have discovered in the last 2 months is that, one, I love to listen to podcasts. I binge them all the time. In e-commerce, if you're a solopreneur like me, we are our own little cheer squad. Like, we need to be so self-motivated. The business success and failures hinge purely on us. And I need the company of a podcast. I love to listen to podcasts all day long. I binge lots of different e-commerce podcasts. I find somebody new that I really enjoy listening to and their experiences, and then I just go back and listen to their whole catalogue of episodes all day long while I'm doing my work. Maybe you're a bit like that too, and it just keeps me company. I feel less alone. I feel more motivated, and like I'm not doing this growing a business, journey all on my own. That's one thing I've learned about podcasts the last couple of months. The other thing I've learned is I really need to record podcasts. I really need this sort of outlet to put my thoughts into words. Nothing clarifies your business better than writing things down, thinking things through, answering questions for yourself. If you were going to explain your business to somebody else or chat to somebody else about where your business is up to or what your challenges are, it really forces you to think more critically and probably less emotionally about what's going on. And then to put those things and thoughts into words so that you can chat with somebody about it so they understand. And I've definitely missed that about podcasting. I have definitely needed that for myself the last couple of months. I could do with the clarity, I could do with writing things down and thinking deeply about a particular topic so that I have something to share with you about what I've been doing and what I've been up to. And I'm sure that inspires you as much as it inspires me to listen to other business owners share their own experiences as well, their wins and their failures and everything in between. So that's a couple of things about podcasting that I've definitely come to learn and solidify for sure myself in the last 2 months, is that I love to listen to them and I binge them all the time. It keeps me company during the day, and I need to record them too for my own sanity to help me maybe feel less fatalistic about my business some days, and also less like I can take on the world other days, and feel a little bit more measured and even-keeled by recording a podcast to chat to you about what I've been up to and what my thoughts are and my experiences are on a particular topic. So today's episode number 40, I want to talk to you about where are you at? ? So in answering this question, I'll tell you where I'm at. I've got a few questions for you to think about for your own business that I'm going to share my answers to let you know what's been going on the last couple of months. And I'd love to hear from you and what you've been doing as well. But this is just a great exercise to have a little think for yourself and write some things down, or at least even just to think about them deliberately, what your answers might be to these questions for your own business, to help give you perhaps a bit of clarity or some areas you want to explore more, some things you're doing really well and you should be really proud of, and congratulate yourself, and be your own little cheer squad, because that's what we are for each other. So let me share a little bit with you what's been happening. Where have I been? Well, I've just been working. I've been working out new routines for myself. This year I've taken a year of leave without pay from my regular day job. So I'm officially unpaid this year. I have been working on my business from home and not been, taking my salaried paycheck from my regular day job for 2023. So a few months in, that's what I've been doing. I've been getting used to the routine. Mostly the routine of the time is my own. It's very bizarre. I still don't know that I'm used to it. It's a very different feeling when all your time is your own to decide what to do with it than having a boss or a time frame or, scheduled hours of work. It's completely different. So I'm still struggling with that. I still haven't probably figured that out for myself. I guess figured it out for myself in the sense of I don't know whether to feel happy or sad about it or guilty about it or excited about it or just grateful. I don't know. I feel like a little bit of a hot mess still a bit when it comes to that whole part of this, building and growing a business thing. But that's what I've been doing. I'm sort of working out what's important to me as well in my work. Like what should I be doing each day that moves the needle? What's important to do? What's not important to do? But then evaluating those again, because I've found what was important to do 2 months ago is not important to do now. So things change over time. So I've got to keep on top of, checking those things and checking in with myself what's still important to do as opposed to what I was doing in February or March, and what's important to do now, but what's probably important to do as well in July or August or November this year as well, and look ahead a little bit more and make some more long-term plans rather than kind of just going from week to week or paycheck to paycheck like I was at my previous job, and being a little bit more structured and planned out. So let me share some metrics with you. I'm excited to share. These are just my high-level stats. I thought they'd be interesting just to hear where things are at with my businesses. I have 2 Shopify websites. I started one in late 2020. The other one I started, early-ish 2021. I usually just tell people I started 2 in 2020. It's way easier. But let me tell you the metrics I have on these 2 websites. I checked them just before I started recording so I could share you some updated stats. So one of my websites today, to date, which is the end of May, I've had 1,050 orders. This is so total since I started the business. My current conversion rate in the last 30 days is 1.8%. My average order value in the last 30 days is $51. My second website that I started, from when I first started, I have had 1,500 orders. The conversion rate in the last 30 days has been 1.69%, and my average order value is $89. So that are my latest metrics. So I thought I would share those as a bit of a high level thing. That's what's going on. The metrics for the last couple of days, I'm really happy with those conversion rates. They are lower than probably the last time I checked in with you guys and shared conversion rates. And there's lots of reasons for that. One of the reasons is I'm just trying to grow my customer base. Like, I need a bigger customer pool. I need more people to shop, but to make first time purchases, not just repeat purchases. So that conversion rate is lower than what it used to be, but I'm really pleased with it because it means I'm adding a lot of new people into my business, lots of new followers on social media, lots of new people commenting, and lots of orders that I'm fulfilling where it's their first ever order and not like their 5th or 6th or 14th or 15th, which is also amazing for a long-term customer value, which is probably a whole nother episode to update you guys on that at some point too. So what's been happening for you? So ask that question for yourself. And what are your latest metrics? When's the last time you checked the metrics on your website? What metrics do you track? And when's the last time you looked at them and compared them to maybe the same time last year? Don't compare metrics to last month all the time. That's not a great measurement, particularly if you're comparing December to January. That's a terrible comparison. I would always suggest you compare your metrics to the previous 12 months. So my metrics for the last 30 days, I was comparing those to the same 30-day period in 2022. And my conversion rate is down on that same time last year, but my average order value on both my websites is up on the same time last year. So, happy with both of those things. So it's always a good idea to look at your metrics. And if you've been in business more than a year, then go back and look at 12 months prior if you're going to look at any sort of data and compare it. Next question, what's been changing for you, or what's been a big change you have had in the last couple of months? So my question for myself was, what's changed since one of the big changes has been since I recorded some episodes earlier this year? The biggest change for me is profitability. I'm so thrilled, and I need to congratulate myself more for this because it's actually already starting to get me down, which is ridiculous because I have been profitable now for about 3 solid months, and I need to be happy about that and not start to freak out or think my sales are dropping, so what am I going to do? Or am I ever going to get to run a real business? Like, hello, this is it now. I need to kind of stop and take stock of that for myself. When I was writing the notes for this episode, that's the biggest thing that jumped out at me. I am profitable. I'm so pleased to share because that was the goal from the outset. I started these two websites as side hustles in 2020, and my goal was to build a customer base, and I was working, so it was no big deal that I wasn't making money or being profitable. But the whole plan for this year, me taking time off of work, was so that I could concentrate on these two websites to become profitable. And they both are. I have been able to pay myself for 3 months now. I've been able to pay myself every 2 weeks because my husband gets paid every 2 weeks. So I paid myself every 2 weeks. I've been able to pay myself something every 2 weeks for 3 months. And I don't congratulate myself enough for that on the day to day, because I definitely get caught up in what's going on in the moment and why I haven't had a sale today at all, or I only had one sale yesterday, or, all that sort of stuff. The roller coaster that is e-commerce really starts to get me down. So I'm really pleased with that. I need to congratulate myself, I think, more and build on that and know that this is the direction I'd planned to move in. This is actually what I wanted to move in this direction, and I am moving in this direction. Is it moving very quickly? No, it's definitely not moving very quickly. I've been paying myself, though, a fairly consistently steady percentage, certainly not a steady amount, because I pay myself on a percentage of my revenue. So I've paid myself about 25% of my revenue for the last 2 or 3 months, definitely 3 months for sure, 25% of my revenue, which is far less than what I made in my day-to-day job, of course, like way less than my salary job. My businesses are still only really small. I haven't even turned over enough revenue yet to register for GST. So that gives you an indication how small my two websites still are. But nevertheless, they're small, but they are both like in the red, in the black. Oh, which way around is it? In the red, in the black. I have no idea. No, in the black. That's where Black Friday saying comes from, isn't it? Because businesses end up in the black because of Black Friday. They make, in the black. I'm definitely in the black. So I'm really pleased with that. And that's been for lots of reasons. I think the biggest reason is nothing compensates for focus and time. This year, I have had an abundance of focus and time, and many of you listening will not have that. I totally appreciate that if you're listening to this, you more than likely do not have an abundance of focus or time in your life to build your side hustles or your website that you're doing or your small e-commerce store. I really do. I totally get that. I had side hustled for 2 years before, 2.5 years nearly, before taking the plunge to doing this full time. And there's no decision yet either of what I'll be doing next year. We haven't decided that as a family, whether I'm going back to my paid job or not. So who knows what's happening there either. But nothing substitutes focus and time. And this year I've had that, and I feel like that has been the difference for me, is having the time to focus on specific areas of my business, in which case be way more, scrupulous with my expenses, giving myself specific budgets for my expenses too. So I set myself an amount I'm willing to spend on advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and then I'm not going to spend over that. And if I find that I've spent that budget far too quick, then I'm going to start, post more organically. But I need to make sure that these expenses are reined in. I've ditched Jasper, so I don't have Jasper AI anymore. I've just upgraded to ChatGTP Plus because I just don't see the point in spending 3 times as much Jasper is over ChatGTP Plus. It's a bit insane. I've also ditched my expensive theme on my 2 websites, which I think I spoke about in an earlier episode anyway, which was costing an insane amount every month, about $150 between the 2 websites. I've got rid of that. Like, I'm just being far more considered with what I'm doing, with my energy, my money, and those things, when you focus on them, grow. Like, it's like anything probably in our business. What are you focused on? What you pay attention to, what you pour your resources into, it grows. And so I have been so pleased that I'm profitable this year. For 3 months solid now, I feel like I could say that's a legit business. I feel like I'm on the right track for sure. And I'm I should be able to stay on that track now. I'm, on the way to becoming a growing business. So that's been a big change for me since some of my earlier episodes. And what's changed for you in the last few months? I'd love to know. It's interesting to think about, and important probably for your own focus, your own motivation in your small business, and also to identify things that maybe are problems or things that you want to address if some things have changed that you really need to work on or pay attention to that you may be procrastinating about. The last question I reckon it's important to ask yourself, and you might as well ask it today. Today's as good a day as any, and I'm asking myself this, is what are my current challenges. So this podcast is all about the day-to-day real-time things that happen, because that's how I love to learn, and that's what I love to listen to other business owners too, what's going on with them day to day in real time. So that's what I like to share. What are your current challenges in your business? My current challenges are, I have a very high returning customer rate, which is great. It really is good, but it is definitely a double-edged sword. I have exhausted those poor customers, and I think a lot of them have hit their lifetime spending value limit with me, which is why my conversion rate has dropped, because I've got new customers coming into that mix, which is great. I needed that too. That's actually the good side of it, is the conversion rate has dropped a little bit because I've got new customers and new people coming in. But my returning customer rate is far too high. Like, it's pushing 70% on my websites, which is insane, which means lots of the same people are buying again and again, which again, you think is amazing, and it is, but it's not good long term. If you're in e-commerce, people don't keep buying for the rest of their life, and you need to keep bringing in new eyeballs, new people, getting your brand out to new people so that new people become aware of who you are, and then you have the opportunity to nurture them over time. So that's far too high a percentage for me, which I think is why my sales are beginning to dip for this month. May has been very slow. April was incredible, and so was March. They were really high, which was great as well, because I wasn't recording any podcast episode. I was flat out fulfilling orders, shipping orders, it was great. May's been really quiet, and I feel like that's probably a consequence too of my customer base becoming a bit financially strapped and just plain like spent out. They've spent all they can with me, and they're probably moving on. So that means my sort of current challenge is my top of funnel work. I need to be filling up the top of my marketing funnel far more. More new people need to be coming in, so that when I'm packing orders, which I have been the last 2 weeks, I've noticed it for sure, which has been encouraging. I think my efforts are starting to pay off. A lot of the customers who I'm packing orders for, like probably 2/3, are new customers, which makes me really pleased for long-term stability and long-term growth. And probably my last current challenge is my finances need to be far more accurate. I'm profitable, I know that much. I've sort of given myself budgets on what to spend, on what I want to spend on advertising and stock, and what I want to pay myself and shipping. But I need a proper bookkeeping software, and I'm not registered for GST yet, but I'll need to be registered for GST at some point this year, because my revenue will be high enough. So that's my most immediate challenge. I need a proper software. I need a proper bookkeeping software. I need to start keeping far more accurate records that take me less time every week to pull together, so I can pull reports from, because thinking more long term is my family and myself. We need to make a decision about what I'm doing next year for work, in just a few short months. So I need my records to be far more accurate financially, to be able to rely on that sort of data to make any sort of big decisions like that. So that's probably my next current challenge as well, that I see coming up, really, really like looming right in front of me. That's like screaming at me, like, spend time on me, stop procrastinating. Those things. We all have those things. I'm sure you do too. There's probably something that's, you keep putting off that is important. Will be so worth the time, but you've got to find the energy for it. So this is your sign. I hope I can impart the energy to you to just go ahead and get it done, because I understand how you feel, so you're not alone. So that's where I'm up to. It's so nice to stop in and check in and say hey, and get back to recording podcast episodes, so I can sort through things in my head and let you know what I'm up to and what my challenges are, what I've learned, what things are going really well. So hopefully you can learn from them too, and it will help you in your e-commerce journey. I'd love to hear from you. Like, send me an email. My website is aussieecommercemum.com.au. So you can send me an email through the website. And my catch cry is keep learning. And that has been my biggest, that's a big journey for me this year, is to keep learning. And I'm a bit of a lifelong learner. So I do love to learn, and I'm learning new things every day. I'm sure you are too in your business. So hang about. I'll be posting podcasts regularly again for like season 2, and I'll be telling you all about what I've been up to and what things have been going really well and what's working and what things aren't working so well, and we can commiserate together and be encouraged to keep at it. You are the captain of your ship. Your business is on you. You take the wins, you take the falls, but congratulate yourself when you have a win and you make a hard decision, or congratulate yourself when you get a sale you weren't expecting, or you hit a target you weren't expecting. Go back and look at your metrics. Don't keep your head in the sand. Stay across everything in your business so that you feel like you've got clarity about what's going on, which together we can then find a path forward to profitability. And, if you want to be making this your full-time gig like I do, we can do that too down the track. So I'll see you guys next time. As always, keep learning.